Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I am your ever-loving host, Short, and I'm reviewing today Nobody's Child from Beowulf Comics. And I'm going to be telling you that this is really good, but there is something about it which didn't quite work for me. And I've got to be honest, it took me a while to figure it out. So all the way through reading it, I was enjoying each individual thing that was happening. There's a great story that's being told. The artwork is really quite cool. There's nice moralistic lessons in there, even a little bit of world building that I kind of enjoy. There's action sequences, which are done really quite well. And again, it took me a while to realize that there's just something missing. And the moment I realized what it is, it made me think that it's the kind of thing which no comic book should ever have. Taken away from the equation, should I say. Of course, every comic should have the thing that's missing. Sorry, I've got a bit of a head cold at the moment, so if I'm a little bit fuzzy, it's due to not really getting much sleep last night. But I promise I'll do my best. Pep myself up, have a coffee, I'll be fine. Right, so let's start. Nobody's Child is about the last white rhino in Africa. And the reason the last one is, rather than the usual reasons people just go out and murder animals, apparently the skin of the white rhino in this Afro-punk future has the properties that allow it to cure pretty much every disease. Brilliant. As if white rhinos weren't struggling enough. And the story follows a guy who's a gameskeeper of some kind, who's basically looking after this final white rhino. He's basically trying to get it out of Africa, or at least out of the African country he's in at the moment, because pretty much all rules and laws about poaching and hunting and stuff like that have been thrown out the window because people want this white rhino skin. And basically, it's a really kind of nice relationship he's got with this rhino. He constantly refers to it as his brother. He looks after it. He takes drugs which appear to be killing him, just so he can stay awake. So if he falls asleep, poachers and hunters will come and kill him and the rhino. But these drugs they're slowly killing him, or at least that's the impression given. There's a lot of people who are after it. Sometimes on the two occasions where you see stuff happening, the first time it appears to be just opportunistic. People who probably just go after a rhino for the sake of a rhino, but they figure out it's a white rhino and become even more determined. That's when you get the first sign of combat, which is brilliant. I don't need to show you the page before, but content warning, this is going to be quite violent. So look away now if it's not your cup of tea. But yeah, that is the sudden brutal nature of the combat in this comic book, and it carries on throughout. There's actually some really nice moments where you have about a second's worth of action in a frame, but it shows movement and action in there. It's really, really well done. Later on, you find that there's actually a dedicated hunter who's going after this. At that point, you get a little bit of what falls into a lot of Afrofuturism kind of stuff, or Afropunk, which I think this one would be probably come under the heading of, where the few white people you see are the bad guys. Not all of them, some of them are just running businesses, but like the main bad guy is a white guy, whereas most of the other characters are people of color. Obviously, this is a distinct choice, and I don't hold it against anyone for doing it. I think it actually works quite nicely. If you're going to talk about hunting in Africa, you've got to talk about colonialism and imperialism. You can't really go any other way from that. This is not hunting. Most hunting is not done for necessity. In this particular situation, it appears to be because this is the thing that's going to cure all diseases. But rather than do anything like breeding programs or holding them captive, which is not necessarily a good thing, they just go all out to hunt them to extinction. You find out that the sorry, I need to blow my nose a second. You find out that the calves, I think is the correct word, of the rhino that's left were taken as well when they were young. So it feels like there's a chance to do good, or by doing a minimum amount of good, they can also let people with power complexes go out and murder animals, which again falls into the colonialism imperialism thing. Brilliant. All this sounds brilliant, and me being who I am, you've got to imagine I'd be well in favor of this comic book, and I am. I think it's a story worth telling. The thing that I did like about it, though, is from start to finish, with a whole bunch of characters turning up, there was so little effort put into characterization. You get a little bit about the guy who's looking after the rhino. You get, to be honest, about as much as the rhino, though, in the fact that they think, well, he thinks it's his brother, and this thing seems to actually be not sentient or anything, but aware of a situation and aware of a bond with this human. But most of the people, they are either good guys or bad guys, and you don't get much underneath the surface of that. And that is a crying shame, because without good characterization, it becomes quite hard to to push for anyone's success or to want anyone to fail. Like, yeah, I don't want this guy to kill this white rhino just because I don't want a white rhino to die. But I don't particularly want this guy to fail because of who he is. He comes across as just two-dimensional stock bad guy. The first ones he set up, they are a similar level of dimension, but they are more opportunistic. They have less dialogue, and their motivations seem to matter even less. There's more motivation given to a random person in the first couple of pages who wants his white rhino dead because a child is going to die without help. Other than that, you don't get much of all, and that is a crying shame for this comic book, because it's a story that I really like. It's in a world that I really enjoy, but without characters that I can root for, either to succeed or fail, there isn't enough for me to grab hold of and tell people this is amazing, you should go and check it out. And it's a damn shame. This might be it for my reviews for this week. Everything else I wanted to review this week has sold out at the shop. So what I might do is hunt down something fun to read, and then you might get a slightly cool odd review tomorrow. If not, I will say Jar Abercrombie's latest book came out, and you should check it out. Like, I've got it on audio, and the entire first hour and a half is just a proletariat uprising. Brilliant. Until I'm back, though, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe. Bye.